30 days. 30 lessons. 6 blocks covering every major hormone system in your body. You've been told to sleep more, eat better, lift weights, manage stress. But nobody showed you the wiring underneath. How your hormones actually work, why they break, and exactly what to do about it. That's what this series did, one lesson at a time. And now you get the whole map in one sitting. By the end of this video, you'll understand what 99% of people never learn about their own body, and you'll have one simple plan to fix what's broken. We'll move fast, chapter by chapter: the foundation, testosterone, cortisol, thyroid, insulin, and finally the hormones that keep you young. Let's begin where every hormone story starts, the communication system running inside you right now. Inside your body there is a communication system faster than your nerves and more powerful than any drug. It controls your weight, your mood, your energy, and how fast you age. These are hormones, about 50 chemical messengers that travel through your bloodstream, unlock doors on specific cells, and tell them exactly what to do. When they work, you feel amazing. When they don't, nothing else matters. You can eat perfectly, train daily, and still feel terrible, like driving a Ferrari with the handbrake on. A 2024 review in Nature Reviews Endocrinology looked at over 40,000 people and found that balanced hormone profiles meant 47% lower all-cause mortality. Almost half. But here's what most people miss: 5 of these hormones are the master controllers. Testosterone runs your drive and strength. Cortisol manages stress. Thyroid sets your metabolism. Insulin controls fuel storage. And estrogen handles repair and protection. Studies show 87% of adults have at least one imbalance they don't know about. So how do you find yours? First, know what's attacking you. Endocrine disruptors are chemicals that mimic your hormones. BPA in plastic bottles mimics estrogen. Phthalates in food packaging block testosterone. A 2024 study tested blood from over 3,000 people across 5 continents. 80% had microplastics circulating in their bloodstream. Not in their gut, in their blood. A 2025 meta-analysis covering 200,000 people found the highest exposure group had 34% more hormonal problems. The fix starts with 5 simple swaps: glass instead of plastic, never microwave plastic, avoid synthetic fragrances, filter your water, and skip the receipts. Then, test. 6 blood markers tell you everything: free and total testosterone, morning and evening cortisol, TSH with free T3 and T4, fasting insulin and glucose, hemoglobin A1C, and vitamin D. And remember the golden rule: normal is not optimal. Your lab might call a testosterone of 300 normal. For a 30-year-old man, optimal is over 600. Normal just means you're not sick enough to flag. Optimal means you're thriving. Now the single most powerful lever of all: sleep. Sleep is not passive. It's active hormonal repair. Every night, growth hormone peaks during deep sleep to repair cells, cortisol drops to its lowest point to allow healing, and testosterone is synthesized while you rest. The CDC says 1 in 3 adults doesn't get enough. One bad night raises cortisol 37%. Harvard links chronic sleep loss to a 48% increase in heart disease and a 55% increase in obesity risk. A 2025 meta-analysis of 43 studies found a direct linear relationship between sleep duration and hormone health. 7 to 8 hours produces the best profile, period. For rules: same bedtime and wake time even on weekends, no blue light before bed, a cool dark room, and no late caffeine. That's the foundation. Understand the system, remove the disruptors, test your markers, and treat sleep like medicine. Because it is. Now the block every man thinks about: testosterone. Testosterone. Your lab range says 300 to 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. But a 30-year-old man's optimal level is over 600. A 2025 study tested 5,000 men complaining of low energy, low libido, and stubborn belly fat. 60% sat between 350 and 550. Below optimal, above the alarm line. Your doctor calls that normal. Your body calls it broken. And here's the uncomfortable part: the average man's testosterone has dropped about 50% in 50 years. A massive 2025 analysis of 50,000 men found a decline of roughly 1% per year since the 1970s. Sedentary life and stress play a part, but the strongest evidence points to environmental toxins. A 2025 study measured phthalates in 3,500 men and found a direct inverse relationship. The top quarter of exposure had dramatically lower testosterone. You can't change the planet. You can change your personal environment, filter your water, store food in glass, choose organic where it counts. So what actually raises testosterone? Start with the basics the science supports, not the supplement aisle. Zinc, 30 to 50 milligrams a day raised testosterone 27% in men with low baseline levels. A zinc-restricted diet dropped testosterone 25% in just 6 weeks. Vitamin D, 2 to 5,000 IU daily, taken with your largest meal because it's fat-soluble. Magnesium, 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate before bed. Then the two big behavioral levers, heavy compound weight training and optimized sleep, which we'll cover in a moment. And one warning. Men spend an average of $75 a month on testosterone boosters with proprietary blends while neglecting zinc and vitamin D. Your exact protocol: 30 milligrams of zinc with dinner, 3,000 IU of vitamin D with food, 400 milligrams of magnesium at night, and 3 heavy full-body sessions a week. That's the stack the evidence actually supports. Food is the foundation, supplements are just a band-aid. The most testosterone-friendly foods on the planet, oysters are the king, just 3 give you your full daily zinc, and a dozen give 150%. Beef, pumpkin seeds, and chickpeas follow. Fatty fish like salmon for vitamin D, eggs, dark chocolate, olive oil. A 2025 study in the European Journal of Nutrition compared 2 groups over 12 weeks. One ate a Mediterranean-style diet rich in oysters, salmon, eggs, and olive oil. The other ate a standard Western diet. The Mediterranean group's testosterone climbed while the Western groups fell. Meanwhile, sugar spikes insulin and suppresses the protein that carries free testosterone, and seed oils, soybean, corn, canola, are loaded with omega-6s that fuel inflammation. One day of hormone fuel looks like this: eggs and olive oil with spinach and pumpkin seeds for breakfast, grilled salmon with quinoa and broccoli for lunch, beef with dark chocolate and almonds for dinner. That's not a diet. That's fuel for the engine. Now the single most powerful behavioral lever: heavy weight training. A single heavy squat session raises testosterone 30 to 40% within 15 minutes. But it's not just the acute spike, it's the long-term signal. Heavy, compound, progressive overload tells your body it needs more strength, and it responds by building more androgen receptors and producing more testosterone over time. The wrong kind of exercise does the opposite. Long-duration cardio raises cortisol and can transiently lower testosterone, and isolation machines barely move the needle. A 2024 study in sports medicine tested 3 workout structures. Heavy compound lifts won by a wide margin. The proven protocol: 3 to 5 sets of 5 reps at 85% of your 1 rep max, 3 minutes of rest between sets, full body compound lifts, 3 days a week. And men who skip leg day are missing the biggest muscles on their body, and up to 37% of their potential spike. Squat, deadlift, press. That's the hormonal workout template. One more layer, because having high testosterone on paper isn't enough. Your body converts testosterone into other hormones. An enzyme called 5-alpha reductase turns it into DHT, dihydrotestosterone, which drives hair loss and prostate growth in some men. Another enzyme, aromatase, turns it into estrogen. The problem: 40% of men with normal total testosterone have unfavorable conversion, too much estrogen, not enough active T. What drives aromatase? Body fat is the number one predictor. For every 10% increase in body fat, aromatase activity climbs 36%. Alcohol makes it worse. One heavy night can suppress testosterone for days. Your 4 steps: drop body fat below 20%, limit alcohol to 2 drinks a week maximum, keep zinc and magnesium covered, they protect testosterone from conversion, and manage stress, because cortisol steals the raw materials. That closes the testosterone block. Next, the stress hormone that controls everything else, cortisol. Cortisol gets a bad reputation, but without it, you'd be dead. It wakes you in the morning, sharpens your focus, controls inflammation, and gives you the energy to handle threats. It's your built-in alarm system. The problem is the stress response mismatch. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and an email from your boss. Both trigger the exact same cortisol response. The difference? The tiger is gone in 30 seconds. The email chain lasts all week. A 2025 meta-analysis of 87 studies covering 120,000 people found chronic cortisol elevation linked to a 47% increase in heart disease risk, plus measurable harm to memory and immunity. How do you know if yours is high? Test morning cortisol, fasted, at 8 a.m. Optimal is 10 to 20 micrograms per deciliter. Above 25 suggests chronic stress. Below 8 suggests your stress system is exhausted. But the real damage isn't cortisol alone, it's what chronic cortisol does to every other hormone. High cortisol doesn't just stress you out, it actively breaks the other hormones. Your body has a hierarchy. Under chronic stress, it prioritizes cortisol production over everything else. Researchers call it the cortisol steal. Your body literally steals the raw materials your other hormones need. The cascade, high cortisol blocks the conversion of T4 to T3, your active thyroid hormone. A 2025 study found people with high evening cortisol had 25% lower T3. It suppresses testosterone, drives insulin resistance, and shuts down growth hormone. Think of your hormones as a company. Testosterone is the CEO driving growth, thyroid is the COO setting the pace, insulin is the logistics manager, and cortisol is the crisis consultant who fires everyone during a panic. The 5 warning signs: belly fat that won't leave despite diet and exercise, feeling tired but wired at night, waking at 3 a.m. with racing thoughts, craving salt and sugar, and brain fog that feels permanent. If that sounds like you, your stress system is running the show. Time to take back control. 7 science-backed ways to lower cortisol. 1. Morning sunlight, 10 to 15 minutes within 30 minutes of waking. It sets your entire circadian rhythm. 2. Moderate exercise. It lowers baseline cortisol over time, just don't do high intensity every day without recovery. 3. Magnesium glycinate, 200 to 400 milligrams at bedtime reduced cortisol by 34% across 12 trials. 4. Sauna or heat exposure. Heat shock proteins literally repair damaged proteins and reduce inflammation. A Finnish study of 2,300 men found frequent sauna users had significantly lower stress hormones. 5. Box breathing. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4. 5 minutes lowers cortisol 24%. 6. Cut caffeine after 2 p.m. It has a 6-hour half-life. 7. Remove the stressors you can actually remove. Boundaries are a biological intervention. You don't need a perfect life. You need a nervous system that gets a break. Let's settle the most controversial topic in hormone health: adrenal fatigue. The term is not a recognized medical diagnosis. The Endocrine Society explicitly rejects it. What is real is HPA axis dysregulation, a measurable condition where your stress response system gets stuck. It happens in 3 stages. Stage 1, alarm, cortisol chronically high, wired but tired, waking at 3 a.m. Stage 2, resistance, cortisol starts dropping while your body stays on high alert. Stage 3, exhaustion, flat cortisol, no energy, no drive. Recovery is real, but it takes time. A 2024 study in Frontiers in Endocrinology tested a 28-day protocol. Fix sleep first, consistent bedtime, no caffeine after noon, no screens 90 minutes before bed, then add vagus nerve stimulation, cold showers, slow breathing, and reduce training volume while you recover. Your adrenal glands are not car batteries. You can't jumpstart them with a supplement. But a broken stress system can be rebuilt, one habit at a time. And the cruelest combination of all, cortisol plus bad sleep. They feed each other in a spiral. Stress raises cortisol, high cortisol blocks deep sleep, and bad sleep raises cortisol further. The numbers are brutal. A 2025 study in sleep medicine reviews tracked 15,000 people over 5 years. Those with high evening cortisol and poor sleep had a 73% higher risk of metabolic syndrome, belly fat, high blood sugar, high blood pressure, all together. The 4-step break: 1. The 90-minute digital sunset. No screens before bed, because blue light suppresses melatonin by 50%. 2. Caffeine cutoff at 2 p.m. 3. Consistent sleep and wake times. 4. A cool, dark, quiet room. If you've ever lain in bed exhausted while your brain replays old conversations, you know this cycle personally. Break it at the evening, and the whole system follows. That closes the cortisol block. Now the engine you've never calibrated, your thyroid. There's a butterfly-shaped gland in your neck, about 2 inches across, lighter than an ounce, and it controls how fast every single cell in your body operates. Heart rate? Thyroid. Body temperature? Thyroid. Calories burned at rest? Thyroid. Even how fast you think. It works like this. Your hypothalamus releases TRH, which tells your pituitary to release TSH, which tells your thyroid to produce T4, the inactive storage hormone, and then T4 converts to T3, the active form that runs your cells. That conversion is where most problems hide. Millions of people have undiagnosed thyroid issues because the symptoms, fatigue, weight gain, brain fog, feeling cold, depression, overlap with everything else. And most doctors only test TSH, which misses early problems. A 2025 study found 1 in 7 adults has subclinical thyroid dysfunction that TSH alone doesn't catch. You need the full panel: TSH, free T4, free T3, reverse T3, and TPO antibodies. 5 numbers tell the real story. One of the most common reasons your thyroid slows down: your own immune system attacks it. That's Hashimoto's disease. Your immune system is a security guard. It finds viruses and bacteria and removes them. But sometimes the guard gets confused and starts attacking your own thyroid. It happens slowly, over years, not days. You don't wake up sick. You slowly get more tired, slowly gain weight, slowly lose hair. And because it's gradual, nobody connects the dots. You just think you're aging badly. The test is simple: TPO antibodies. Think of antibodies as the security guard's ID card. If the guard is attacking your thyroid, the ID cards show up in your blood. The treatment is even simpler: a small pill once a day that replaces the hormone your thyroid can't make. That's it. Safe, cheap, and it works. If you've been tired for years and doctors say everything's fine, ask for the TPO antibody test. It could be the answer you've been waiting for. The opposite problem: a thyroid that makes too much hormone. Hyperthyroidism. You know that person who eats anything and never gains weight: pizza, burgers, sweets, and stays skinny? Everyone says, "You're so lucky." But a fast metabolism that comes with anxiety, a racing heart, and insomnia isn't luck, it's a warning. When your thyroid makes 3 to 4 times the normal amount of hormone, your whole body runs in overdrive. You lose weight without trying. You feel wired. Your heart pounds. Your body is like a car. A normal thyroid cruises at 60 miles an hour, smooth and efficient. Hypothyroidism is a car crawling at 10, slow and frustrating. Hyperthyroidism is a car doing 120 with no brakes. About 1 in 100 people have it, women more than men. The test: TSH very low, free T4 and T3 high. And it's treatable. Medication slows the hormone production down. If your fast metabolism comes with anxiety and palpitations, get tested, don't celebrate. Something that scares people more than it should: a lump in the neck. Thyroid nodules. Here's the truth: nodules are found in 50 to 60% of people over 50 when you look carefully with ultrasound. Only 5 to 15% are cancerous. And even the ones that are, thyroid cancer has a 98% survival rate. It's one of the most treatable cancers there is. The real problem is how people react: either they panic and rush into unnecessary surgery, or they ignore it completely and never get checked. Both are wrong. The right approach is boring and effective. Check your neck once a month. Tilt your head back, swallow, look in the mirror. If you see a lump, get an ultrasound. It's simple, painless, and tells you everything you need to know. 90% of nodules are harmless, like finding old coins under a couch cushion. Don't let fear of cancer keep you from a 2-minute test that gives you peace of mind. So here's your complete thyroid checklist, 5 items. 1. Get the full panel once a year, TSH, free T4, free T3, reverse T3, and TPO antibodies. All 5, not just TSH. 2. Check your neck monthly. 3. Eat for thyroid support, iodine in moderation, about 150 micrograms a day, roughly half a teaspoon of iodized salt, plus selenium, zinc, and vitamin D. 4. Manage stress. Cortisol blocks T4 to T3 conversion, so chronic stress is a thyroid problem. 5. Know the red flags: persistent fatigue, unexplained weight changes, temperature intolerance, hair thinning, and mood changes. Your thyroid is like a smartphone battery. At 100% everything works, at 50% apps lag, at 20% you're in low power mode. Catch thyroid problems early, and they're almost always manageable. That closes the thyroid block. Now the hormone that decides whether you store fat or burn it, insulin. Insulin is the fat storage hormone, the one that controls your weight, your energy, and how long you live. Every time you eat carbs or sugar, your pancreas releases insulin to move that sugar out of your blood and into your cells. When there's too much sugar, insulin stores it as fat. And high insulin blocks fat burning, which is why so many people eat less, exercise more, and still don't lose weight. Their insulin is locked high. The biggest spikes come from sugar, soda, juice, candy, desserts, and refined carbs, white bread, white rice, pasta, cereal. Plus constant snacking, which never lets insulin come back down. If you've ever felt tired 30 minutes after a big meal, or hungry an hour later, that's insulin working overtime. Your body is a house and insulin is the key to the front door. Normally it works beautifully: eat, key appears, door opens, sugar goes in. But when sugar keeps flooding in, the key starts to fail. That's the silent problem, insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is the silent problem, and roughly 40% of adults have it and don't know. 4 out of 10 people. Here's what happens: your cells stop listening to insulin, so your pancreas has to produce more and more to get the same result. It's like a smart home where the voice command stops working. You say, "Turn on the lights," nothing happens. You say it louder, a single light flickers. That's insulin resistance. Your cells have built noise-canceling headphones against the signal. And the scary part, there are no early symptoms. No pain, no warning. You can have it for years, feeling completely normal, while your pancreas burns out and your blood sugar creeps up. And it's not just overweight people, thin people get it too, especially with a diet full of refined carbs. 5 ways to improve sensitivity: walk 10 to 15 minutes after meals. It lowers blood sugar by up to 30%, eat fiber first, vegetables and beans before carbs, and strength train. Muscle is your sugar sink. More on that next. Here's the part nobody tells you: blood sugar spikes don't just affect insulin, they wreck every hormone in your body. A single high-sugar meal increases cortisol by 20% within 2 hours. That same cortisol spike blocks T4 to T3 conversion by up to 30%. Your thyroid slows down. It also reduces testosterone. Your hormones are a row of dominoes, and blood sugar is the first domino. Sugar falls, insulin spikes. That knocks down the next, fat storage. Then cortisol releases. Then the thyroid and testosterone wobble. You felt the whole chain: the 20-minute sugar high, then the crash: tired, irritable, hungry. That's not just sugar leaving your system. That's your entire hormone cascade swinging. 5 stabilizers: eat protein with every meal. It slows sugar absorption. Don't drink your carbs. No soda, no juice, no sweet coffee. Eat fiber before the carbs on your plate. Move after meals, and space your meals instead of grazing all day. Keep blood sugar flat, and every hormone downstream stays calm. Good news, insulin resistance is reversible. It's not a life sentence, it's a metabolic state, and your body can change states. Here's the evidence. Losing just 5 to 7% of your body weight improves insulin sensitivity by 50%. Intermittent fasting, eating all your meals within an 8-hour window, improved insulin sensitivity by 25% in just 4 weeks. Strength training improves it by 40%. The mistake most people make is eating less without changing what they eat. That doesn't wake up numb cells. You need to remove the noise-canceling headphones, not shout louder. Your protocol: time-restricted eating, an 8 to 10 hour eating window, giving your body 14 to 16 hours overnight without food, strength training 3 times a week, movement after meals, and protein plus fiber at every meal. Your cells can learn to listen again, faster than you think. And when insulin resistance, belly fat, high blood pressure, and bad cholesterol all show up together, that's the next problem. Metabolic syndrome is when insulin resistance, belly fat, high blood pressure, and bad cholesterol arrive together, for problems at the same time. The official criteria: you have it if you have 3 of these 5, waist over 40 inches for men, 35 for women, fasting blood sugar over 100, blood pressure over 130/85, high triglycerides, or low HDL cholesterol. 35% of adults have it, and it raises heart attack risk by 200%. It's like driving with 4 flat tires: 1 flat and you limp along, 2 and you're on the shoulder, 4 and you're not going anywhere. And like insulin resistance, it has no obvious symptoms. You can have it for years and feel fine. The fix is boring and it works. Lose 5 to 10% of your body weight. That alone can fix all 4 markers. Walk 30 minutes a day, and cut processed foods. That closes the insulin block. Final week: the hormones that keep you young. Why do kids heal so fast? A scraped knee is gone in 2 days. An adult takes a week for a paper cut. The answer: growth hormone. Children have high levels, adults, not so much. Growth hormone is your body's night cleaning crew. While you sleep deeply, it repairs cells, rebuilds tissue, and burns fat. The largest pulse comes about an hour after you fall asleep, which is why the first hours of sleep matter so much. Most people sleep 6 hours and get only 1 hour of deep sleep, so the cleaning crew barely clocks in. 5 natural ways to boost it: go to bed by 10 or 11 and protect the first hours of sleep, exercise intensely, HIIT and heavy strength training spike growth hormone, keep an overnight fast of 12 to 16 hours, keep sugar low, because insulin suppresses growth hormone, and don't eat late at night. Growth hormone declines with age, but you can keep the cleaning crew on shift every single night. 2 more aging hormones, DHEA and melatonin. Your body has a master clock, the circadian rhythm, a 24-hour cycle that controls when you sleep, wake, feel hungry, and think clearly. Melatonin is how darkness tells the clock to sleep. Morning sunlight tells it to wake. Modern life breaks this. Screens at night suppress melatonin, so your clock drifts later and later, like a grandparent with a strict schedule being kept up by a rebellious teenager. The fixes: morning sunlight within 30 minutes of waking, 10 to 15 minutes, dim lights in the evening, no screens late, and no food 3 hours before bed, because digestion interferes with deep sleep. DHEA is the aging marker, made by your adrenal glands. It peaks in your 20s and declines until, by 70, you have only 10 to 20% left. Low DHEA is linked to fatigue, low libido, and weaker immunity. You can't stop the clock. But you can keep it accurate, and a working internal clock keeps every other hormone on schedule. This part is for both men and women, because men have estrogen and women have testosterone. These aren't male or female hormones, they're human hormones. Estrogen is the gas pedal. It promotes growth, bone strength, and healthy skin. Progesterone is the brake. It calms the brain, balances estrogen, and helps you sleep. The problem is estrogen dominance, estrogen too high relative to progesterone. It happens in both sexes. The causes: stress. High cortisol steals the building blocks progesterone needs: body fat. Fat cells produce estrogen, and alcohol, which taxes the liver that clears excess estrogen. Men with low libido, stubborn belly fat, or trouble building muscle, check estrogen. Women with heavy periods, PMS, anxiety, or poor sleep, check the balance. The fixes: manage stress, eat healthy fats. Your hormones are built from fat, avocado, olive oil, nuts, fatty fish, and support your liver with vegetables and hydration. The goal isn't more of either hormone. It's balance. 30 days. 30 episodes. 6 blocks. 1 blueprint. Your body is not 30 separate apps you update one at a time, it's one operating system. If the OS is slow, every app is slow. So here's the master plan, the 6 most important things, one from each block. 1. Sleep 7 to 8 hours, nothing works without it. 2. Lift heavy things 3 times a week, muscle fixes everything downstream. 3. Walk 30 minutes a day, it lowers cortisol and blood sugar. 4. Test your hormones, normal is not optimal. 5. Cut the disruptors, glass over plastic, filtered water, fewer ultra-processed foods. 6. Keep blood sugar flat, protein, fiber, no liquid sugar. Fix the system, not the symptoms. And if you only do 2 things, start with sleep and sugar, the 2 levers that pull everything else. You now understand what 99% of people never learn about their own body. Know your body. Master your health. That's the complete hormone blueprint, 30 days in one sitting. If this helped you, do 3 things: like this video, subscribe to Info Vital, and share it with one person who needs to understand their body. And if you want the full depth of any single topic, sleep, testosterone, cortisol, thyroid, insulin, the complete 30-day series is on this channel, 1 lesson per day, with the science and the step-by-step plans. This was the recap, the map. The series is the journey. Know your body. Master your health. See you in the next one.